I am going to survive the next 100 days of hardcore Minecraft stranded on this jungle island with only 3 rules. Rule number 1, obviously, is no leaving the island unless it's for the Ender Dragon fight. Rule number 2, I want there to be no totems of undying in this 100-day challenge, since those will pretty much just give me a second life. And for rule number 3, it all has to be done in hardcore mode, meaning if I die, I lose this world forever. A couple of my goals in this challenge is going to be transforming this island into a beautiful oasis that I can call home, along with acquiring a full set of enchanted diamond tools and diamond armor. The final and most important goal is obviously to survive all 100 days of this challenge, which is definitely going to pose its challenges because I had some very close calls during this 100 days. Anyways, with that being said, don't forget to check out my Patreon, which will be linked down in the description, where you can not only find the world download for this 100-day challenge, but all of my other challenges and even my hardcore Let's Play world. Let's get this video to 5,000 likes for another 100 days, and as always, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you're not already. Let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, well here we are on day 1 stranded on this jungle island, where I'm gonna try and survive the next 100 days building the ultimate jungle base. Anyways, first things first, I made my way over to a tree to slap a couple of jungle logs so I can turn these logs into planks and then into a crafting table so I can make myself one wooden pickaxe. Using this pickaxe, I'm gonna dig below the ground here so I can hopefully collect up a couple pieces of cobblestone, but I ran into something I'm not normally used to seeing. What the hell? Why am I running into packed mud? This must be a part of like one of the newer updates or something, because I've never seen packed mud while digging into a jungle before. After some thought, I realized the packed mud is here because of the blooming biosphere mod, which pretty much just kind of upgrades all the biomes in the world by simply using blocks that are a part of vanilla Minecraft. Anyways, eventually I did hit some stone, so I spent a few minutes collecting this stuff up, hoping to get about 20 pieces. Oh my goodness, you know what? Running into this copper is kind of a big deal, because since this is one of the newer Minecraft versions, we are going to be able to make some copper armor along with copper tools. Although first, I need to collect up a little bit more cobblestone so I can make my way back up to the surface and craft a full set of stone tools, because in order to mine that copper, I'm pretty sure I need a stone pickaxe. All right, now that I have this stone pickaxe, I am going to collect this stuff up before I forget, because I know I am going to forget. Oh, dude, you're kidding. It was only 2 pieces of copper ore. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world because I did get 9 raw copper, but still, that's not going to be enough to make a full set of copper armor. Now that I have some stone tools and I feel more comfortable, I grabbed my crafting table and began exploring around the island, only to quickly notice that there is a sunken ship like right off the side of the island I want to go check out. Oh, dude, this chest has potatoes, carrots, and even a spruce sapling inside of it. That is huge. Let's make sure none of this armor has a curse of binding on it. No, it doesn't, so I can actually just throw this stuff on, which it's actually really good armor. Although I want to make sure to check the other chest. We don't have one down here, sadly, but we should have another one right back here. And what do we have? Oh yeah, baby, we got a couple pieces of iron, gold, and even an emerald, which is sweet because if there is sheep on the island, I can actually use that iron to craft a pair of shears, which will allow me to collect wool to make a bed without having to kill the sheep. Oh yeah, it looks like we at least have 1 sheep on this island, so I am going to craft that pair of shears real quick so I can shear this first sheep, and hopefully he builds his wool back up before nighttime, so then I can make that bed. Oh yeah, we have another sheep over here and another one. Oh, that's a cow. Oh my goodness. That is going to be so freaking sweet that we have a cow on the island, because now we have a way to get leather. Oh, I am looking so forward to this 100-day challenge. I think it is going to be such a blast. And also just look how insane this jungle biome looks with the blooming biosphere mod. Honestly, oh, and we have a chicken. That is also huge. Okay, so the only animal we're missing now is pigs. Although, as I was saying, only if vanilla biomes were like this, because this is insane. I went ahead and spent a couple more minutes exploring around this pretty small island, seeing what it has to offer, which honestly isn't too much, but it's more than I thought it would. With only a couple minutes left in day 1, I decided to use my stone axe to chop down one of these large jungle trees, so at least I have enough wood for hopefully the next day and a half or so. Wow, I feel like that day went by so freaking fast. Oh my god, I need need to throw this down so I can make myself a bed real quick, because if I wait too long, mobs are gonna start spawning. Okay, get me in this bed. Sweet. Wow, and there we go. I've made it through the first night of this 100-day challenge, which honestly, I'm glad I did, because if I hadn't survived the first day, I probably would have thrown my computer out of my window. And let's keep in mind, I live on the third floor of a building, so yeah, the computer would be no more. Anyways, I need to finish up collecting up this tree. Once I had the rest of the logs collected up, I quickly wanted to get started setting up some sort of crop field, because I would really hate to lose some of these passive mobs on the island to them just being stupid and like falling in the water and not being able to breed any more animals in the future. Luckily, setting up a crop field is not too difficult at all. I just needed to find some dirt next to a body of water, which we are surrounded by a ocean, and then I could just turn the dirt into some farmland and collect up some seeds from a bunch of the tall grass that spawned naturally on the island, so I can place these down and start growing some wheat, along with placing the carrots and potatoes we got from the sunken ship, so those can start growing too. Now that I have the small piece of farmland down up against the water, I think it also would be a good idea to probably set up some little area with chests, because my inventory is already completely filled up. So with that being said, I think this is a nice spot right here that I could go ahead and throw down my crafting table. Nope, looks like I left it wherever it was. So I'm just gonna make a new one and put it right here and craft these logs into planks so I can make these chests, which a double chest should be enough for now. I'll just start right there and I can clear all of this crap out. At this point, the sun was beginning to set and the moon was starting to rise, so I went ahead and threw my bed down so I could sleep through the night. Now, I normally would be okay just having my chest and crafting table kind of out in the open here for the first couple days in these 100-day challenges, but I kind of want to do things differently in this challenge by trying to get a house built like right off of the bat, which means I am going to need some wood to build with. So I walked around the island looking for any oak trees, and I was only able to find these oak bushes, which just consisted of a single log each. Okay, well, considering I just chopped like 5 of those little oak trees down and only got 5 oak logs and 3 oak saplings, I think I'm gonna have to improvise and use some other block in the starter house, which luckily I did just remember that we do have some bamboo on this island, and bamboo blocks are a thing. I just always kind of forget to use them. Let me just hop down here and grab all of this. Oh, look at that. Okay, this is gonna be sweet, and I should be able to set up a bamboo farm relatively easily, and it's to start growing bamboo fast too. With that being said, I spent a couple of minutes walking around the island collecting up all of the bamboo I could find, while also trying to conserve hunger since I still don't really have any good way to get food. Oh my god, this guy came out of freaking nowhere. Get out of here, you little shit. Oh, I hear a spider too. Oh, we must have a relatively dark area up in the freaking hill. Oh my god. I'm gonna go ahead and put a torch down. Yeah, it's right up here. Looks really dark. With 40 pieces of bamboo to my name, I made my way back down to the beach so I could plant all of this down and start some sort of bamboo farm, because I am gonna need quite a bit of this stuff to build a starter house. It is pretty amazing how fast this stuff grows though. Like, it should take no time for me to double the size of this farm. Anyways, I did just realize I lost 3 hearts trying to fight that zombie and spider, and I don't have any way to get those hearts back besides drinking this suspicious stew here, which normally I would think is a bad idea, but I am just gonna go for it, and hopefully it doesn't give me see, that is not what I wanted. Oh, no. Why did I do that? No. Oh, this is gonna really do some damage to me. Oh gosh darn it. Now I'm down to 5 hearts. I don't even think I'm gonna get any back now, and I can't even kill any of these fish for food because they're all just tropical fish, so they're not really gonna give me anything. That is until I realized that spider I killed earlier gave me 2 pieces of string, which means by just using 3 pieces of sticks, I can craft myself 1 fishing rod. Using this fishing rod, I decided to pretty much spend the entire rest of day 3 fishing, trying to get as much cod and salmon as possible so I can hopefully build up a food supply for the next next couple days. Now, obviously, I could have just killed the animals on the island to get some steak and mutton, but I really want to save those animals so I'm able to breed them up later, because I feel like killing them now just would not be worth it whatsoever. Anyways, after a couple minutes of fishing, the sun was setting on day 3, so I used the remaining 8 pieces of cobblestone I had to craft 1 furnace and started smelting up the 6 pieces of cod in the furnace and threw my bed down so I could sleep through the night. Now that it is day 4 and I have some food, so I no longer have to worry about that, I want to continue figuring out what I want to do about this sort of starter house, which I think is going to go right about here, but that does mean I'm going to need to clear out this mushroom along with a couple of these trees. Luckily, these trees won't go to waste though, because I am going to be using this wood to build that starter house. After cutting down a single tree, I realized I really wasn't going to have to remove any more trees, but I do need to flatten this area out a little bit because right now we are building on the side of a small mound. So all I did was bring back the dirt a couple blocks and then add a few more layers of dirt to the front, giving us this nice little platform that should be plenty big enough for a starter house and maybe even a small field. Although I was taking breaks as I was working on terraforming, just making sure to harvest all of the bamboo and planting in some more of it so I can grow as much bamboo as possible, along with going over to our small crop field to check if any carrots, potatoes, or wheat have grown in, which we did have a sad single piece of wheat that grew in, but which I grabbed, but yeah, nothing special. And then I also needed some more cobblestone because some of my tools were starting to break and I was all out of cobblestone, so I made my way down into the little mine we dug earlier to collect up about 30 pieces of cobblestone, along with collecting up exactly 1 stack of packed mud because I think I'm gonna use this in our starter house. Well, just like that, another day is coming to a close, so I'm gonna go ahead and sleep through the night before any bad mobs start spawning in. At this point, I felt like I had more than enough items to get started building on this starter house, but first I need to, craft all of these raw items into blocks I actually want to build with. I knew going into this challenge that I really want to try sticking with the blocks that are natural to this island, which means I'm going to be using a ton of jungle wood along with the mud blocks I'm finding below the surface, and here and there I'm going to try and use some oak logs or even some oak planks just to split up the color a little bit. Now honestly, this is something completely out of my comfort zone because normally I'm a spruce kind of person, but I really want to try pushing the boundaries of my building by trying to use blocks I normally wouldn't use. Once I had the walls of the first floor complete, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to use for the roof, and this is when I remembered I've been collecting up a shitload of bamboo, which probably is going to be the optimal block in this situation. It felt a little wrong using bamboo just since I never use this stuff, but I ended up being so happy using this stuff, and when you guys see the outcome, I'm sure you guys will think it looks pretty cool too. Now that the house is mostly complete and I'm not really going to need any more bamboo for building, I want to go ahead and get rid of this bamboo field here because honestly it's in the way, and also I think it's going to be so freaking satisfying to get rid of. Oh yeah, this is amazing. It's crazy how fast though it goes through these stone swords. I mean, they don't last long at all. Once I had all of the bamboo removed, I decided to make my way inside the starter house to get some sort of basic interior set up, just so I can at least call this thing complete. The final thing this house needs is some sort of pathway connecting the house up to the beach here, since I'm probably going to be building some more down here. But rather than just turning the dirt into path block, I actually want to try getting some coarse dirt, which luckily shouldn't be too hard because I already have like 2 stacks of dirt to my name. I just need to collect up a stack or so of gravel, which there should be some in the ocean hopefully. hopefully 20 pieces should be more than enough, because I think 20 pieces of gravel and 20 pieces of dirt should turn into 40 pieces of coarse dirt. Yes, I was correct. 40 pieces of coarse dirt. So now I can just kind of build a little pathway that maybe meanders its way down to the beach. I'm just going to do like a pretty curved setup for now, and we can adjust it if it's too much. So honestly, I think it could probably use a little bit more coarse dirt because it's pretty thin. Ooh, and look at that. This place is really starting to come together. At this point, the sun was now setting on day 8, which means I can make my way into my brand new starter house and sleep through the night with a roof over my head. Now on to day 9. One of the first things I want to get set up is some sort of animal pens on the beach here, because I would really hate for any of the cows, sheep, or chickens to despawn, and then I won't have any way to breed them in the future. Luckily, I do have a load of bamboo that I can craft into blocks of bamboo and then into bamboo planks, and then I can craft like a whole bunch of sticks, which will now allow me to make a whole bunch of bamboo fence gates along with a bunch of bamboo fence posts. Now this isn't going to be anything pretty. I just want to set something up for the time being because, like I said, I really don't want any of these guys to despawn or die. That should be big enough for the cows, and then for the sheep I can just also set up a pen, which can be pretty small too. And then the chickens can have like a really small pen. Actually, you know what? I think this is going to be the sheep pen and that can be the chicken pen. So with that decided, I made my way into the middle of this island looking for some animals, which I was able to find a sheep, and slowly made my way back over to the new animal pens with some wheat in my hand so the sheep would follow. Perfect. We have our first animal into his pen. Let's close that up. All right. He is now trapped in there. And now I just need to get him a buddy or a lady for him to breed with. With one sheep now in the sheep pen, I did this for a few minutes longer, trying to attract another sheep along with a couple of cows. Although by the time I was done, the sun was now setting on day 9, so I went ahead and slept through the night. Hey, and you know what? That takes us on to day 10, which gets us 10% of the way through this challenge. And honestly, I am pretty happy with where we're at so far. We got our starter house up there, which I think is looking so freaking stunning, and we also have some animal pens set up for now. Although something that I am definitely not stoked about is the fact I am still using these crappy stone tools now that we are on to day 10, and I would like to maybe craft some iron tools, but I think I spent all of my iron on the lanterns for this starter house. Yeah, I'm all on iron. I do have a couple pieces of copper that I'm smelting up, but that's only gonna be enough to make maybe a handful of tools, and I won't even be able to make copper armor. Luckily, when I was looking around, it seems that there is some huge underwater caves down here that are loaded to the brim with copper. And if we actually take a dip underwater, I'm pretty sure there is quite a bit of iron too, and even coal. So once the copper was done smelting, I made myself one copper pickaxe along with a couple of doors so I can make my way into the water and place these doors down to make it a little easier to harvest all of this copper, coal, and even the few bits of iron, because, you know, having a water pocket really speeds all of this up. It is still a complete pain in the ass to do though. So this is working considerably better than I thought it would. We are now up to over a stack of copper and 26 pieces of raw iron. But as I was digging out some copper right down here, I did notice that we have dug into a huge cave system, which I want to explore, but I almost just looked into that Enderman's eyes. I also want to maybe get myself a shield and also get myself some armor because of look how many mobs are down there. So with that being said, I made my way back up to the surface and back over to my little house so I could start smelting up all of this copper in the furnace. I did decide to craft another furnace and throw it in the floor so I could smelt up the iron at the same time. And while I waited for this stuff to smelt up, I decided to grab my fishing rod and spend the rest of day 11 fishing because I'm pretty much all out of food and my wheat farm is growing extremely freaking slow. Once the sun was beginning to set on day 11, I made my way into the house and slept through the night. All right, well, we are now on to day 12, and most of the iron is done smelting, or all of the iron's done smelting, and most of the copper is done smelting. So I actually want to use all of this copper to make a full suit of copper armor, which I would prefer to obviously have iron, but I'm not going to waste my iron on that just yet because I want to make some iron tools instead. And you know what? I'm going to make one extra pickaxe just in case. And then I definitely need to make myself an iron shield. I also was able to get a ton of food, being 9 cooked cod, 3 cooked salmon, and 12 baked potatoes, which I got from my farm. So I think it's about time to head over to that cave, which is so freaking terrifying, but it's really going to be the only way for me to get some of those rare earth materials, if I can find where this thing is. Okay, here we go. Now let's hope there isn't oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, there's already a freaking skeleton right there. Oh, dude, you're kidding me. All right, well, we are off to a bad start here. I'm gonna eat this piece of food. Got a freaking arrow right to the skull. So I have spent pretty much the entirety of day 12 here just trying to get down into that cave, but there is a load of mobs that have spawned down there. So I'm hoping if I maybe run to the other side of the island and sleep through the night, that maybe a decent amount of the mobs will despawn, or at least that's the hope, because there is no chance of me getting down into that cave safely with that many mobs down there. Oh, and look at that. We got an ocelot on this island, or a little cat. I'm just gonna go ahead and climb into this tree to sleep through the night because I'm sure mobs are already starting to spawn down below me. Yeah, there we go. Awaking on the morning of day 13, I was absolutely determined to get myself down into this massive cave. Luckily, my theory seemed to work and some of the mobs despawned, so I quickly jumped down into this cave using this water elevator and began throwing some torches down to get some initial light down here. I quickly started to get harassed by this creeper, which I was trying to just let explode, but he really didn't want to, until eventually I got close enough where he exploded and also did some damage to the skeleton, which was also trying to kill me. Luckily, he was not very hard to kill, so I quickly moved on, placing down as many torches as possible and as fast as I can, so no more mobs will be spawning in this cave. This is a method I typically like to use, which is just lighting up all of the caves and then coming back through and harvesting up all the goodies, which seems to work best for me. Well, now that I got this cave lit up a decent amount, it is pretty bonkers how many ores there are down here. I mean, up top we have a bunch of iron, which I'm very excited for, but I can already see a oh, that's mushrooms. I thought that was redstone. There is some diamonds right over there. It looks like some more iron and more diamonds over there. Okay, yeah, this is definitely the cave I want to be in. Although before I go any deeper, I do want to collect up all of this iron and coal that's in the walls. Dude, you're kidding. I just ran into some diamonds down here, which should be relatively easy to collect. But first, I still want to get this iron real quick. Oh my god, I cannot believe I ran into diamonds that are in the normal stone layer. Hopefully, it's more than just a single piece. Oh no, it looks to be just a single piece, which is better than nothing. Oh, it also looks like we have some more iron back here. Okay. That is super sweet. We were able to get diamonds, but also a bit of a bummer considering it was just a singular piece. And that is exactly why you keep digging around, because we had another diamond right here, which just made that enough diamonds to at least make a diamond sword. I think I have pretty much cleared out this entire upper area, which means it's time to start moving down into the deep slate levels, which I definitely want to do, but oh my goodness, there is a crap load of mobs down here. And oh my god, is that a monster spawner? That is a monster spawner. Oh my goodness, that is going to be huge. I hope it's a skeleton, because I always feel like the skeleton spawners are much better than the zombies or spiders. I'm gonna kind of hop down here and place some more torches. And you know what? I should probably craft some more of these guys since I'm almost out. Oh, that's all the coal I was able to get. Oh, and oh, look, there's a baby zombie. Oh, you're kidding me. All right, well, I might have to call it quits in this cave for now, just because I feel like I'm gonna die if I try going any deeper. So when the day counter changed to 14, I made my way back up to the surface so I can begin smelting up all of the iron and copper I just collected. Although I don't have any coal because I really didn't get much from that caving session, and I really don't want to spend my jungle planks smelting this stuff up. So instead, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and clear out some of these trees on this island just so I can smelt those logs into charcoal, and it should also give me a little bit more space so I can kind of design or think about what I want this island to look like and plan out what it's going to be for the next 100 days. I started off by just clearing out a few of the smaller jungle trees next to our starter house, but I was trying to be pretty careful not to clear out too many of these because I do want this jungle to kind of maintain that overgrown look. And once I realized I'm going to have to chop way too many of these trees down to get enough logs, I made my way over to one of those 2x2 tall jungle trees so I could chop one of these down because they kind of look disproportionate on this island. All right, well, now that I have over 2 stacks of jungle logs, I can craft these 17 into a stack of planks and then just split up the planks between the jungle logs and start smelting this stuff up. Oh wait, actually never mind, I can only do half a stack at a time. While I wait for the logs to smelt into charcoal, I decided to take a few minutes to decide what I'm gonna put in this little area that I just cleared all the trees from. I think it's gonna be the perfect spot for a smaller farm and also something a little bit closer to our house because it really sucks having to run over to another side of the island just to collect up a few crops at a time. Anyways, at this point the sun was now setting on day 14, so I slept through the night, taking me on to day 15 where I spent the entirety of the day doing some terraforming in this new area that I want to build some fields in. Originally I was just gonna flatten it all out and build one single wheat field in this area, but after some thought I kind of want this island to maintain sort of like a natural overgrown look, and I feel like if I flatten too much area out and then just plant one type of crop, it might look like kind of dumb and it won't look natural whatsoever. I started by just clearing out a couple of blocks and extending this pathway that comes out from behind the back of the starter house, just so I can get that out of the way and I'm not trying to deal with building a pathway through fields later. Anyways, once I had the terraforming done and the path extended, I then just used 6 pieces of iron to craft 2 buckets so I can run down to the ocean and collect up some water to set up a water source a little bit closer to where I'm going to be planting in these fields. Although day 15 was now coming to a close with the sun setting, so I went ahead and slept through the night. Well, I do think this area is looking extremely nice and it definitely still maintains that overgrown look, but the only concern I have is that this may not be enough area for these farms. I mean, I guess I could always build some larger fields a little bit later, but I guess I'm just gonna have to find out. Either way, I still need to get all of the water placed in where the water sources are gonna go. Luckily, I do have this water source right here, which is quite a bit closer than the ocean. Once I had all the water sources in, I could then use my iron hoe that I just crafted to turn all of this grass into farmland. Now that everything is farmland, I can actually make my way over to the small field I set up along the shoreline to collect up all the wheat, carrots, and potatoes that have been growing. Sadly, I got way less of that stuff from this small little field than I originally thought, so I'm definitely not going to be able to plant in these fields completely. Yeah, I am definitely going to need quite a bit more crops to plant in both of these fields, but I am extremely happy with how they turned out, and I feel like they actually fit in pretty well on this island because they still have that super overgrown look. Anyways, we are now on to day 17 here, and there is another farm I want to get set up pretty quickly, which is some type of sugarcane farm, because to be honest, our sugarcane farm right now is extremely sad and also very freaking ugly. Luckily, we do have this small little slice of land to the right side of the starter house here, which I think if I clear out both of these trees and then remove a layer of dirt, that should be plenty enough space for a decently sized sugarcane farm. Although that does mean I need to, remove the trees and also clear out the land. So that is exactly what I did. I spent a couple minutes terraforming this kind of area to the right side of the starter house, just making sure there is enough space for a medium-sized sugarcane farm. Once I was happy with the size, I could then go through and start removing the dirt blocks where the water sources are going to go. And there is sort of a method to this, because I think if you set it up in a specific pattern, there will be a sugarcane block placed on every single block besides the water source, which means I can make a very efficient farm that takes up a relatively small footprint. One of the last things this little sugarcane farm needs is a little bit of lanterns in here so no mobs are spawning. I think 2 should be more than enough. Let's place that there and that there. What if I put like a lantern maybe right there? Yeah, I think that might be the spot. And then I might move this one over to that trapdoor I just placed in, which can go right here, just so these 2 in the middle of the farm are a little bit further apart. By the time I was complete with this sugarcane farm, the sun was now setting on day 18, so I went ahead and slept through the night. Now that it is day 19, I actually want to head back down to that cave from earlier because I only have 59 pieces of cooked iron, and I also would like to maybe get more than just 2 diamonds. But before I do that, I am actually going to use some of this iron to craft myself a full set of iron armor, which does mean I need to retire this copper armor. But luckily I did make myself one of these armor stands here, so I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and place it right there and then throw the copper armor on the armor stand, which I can probably find a better place for this later, but it will work for now. And I can now put on my iron armor, and this stuff is so much better than copper, as I just recently found out. I am also going to use all of the charcoal I just made by smelting logs to make 4 stacks of torches, because if there's one thing I learned from this caving, or this huge cave, is I'm going to need a load of torches to light this thing up. Besides that stuff, I grabbed another iron pickaxe and all of my food so I can make my way back down into that cave. All right, well, here is where things are going to get a little bit risky, because I need to go down there and just look at how many mobs are starting to spawn in. Actually, you know what? I would like to maybe go light up that zombie spawner as soon as possible, because I know for sure it is not going to be fun dealing with all the zombies that are going to spawn in. I made this jump down here and just realized that this was a terrible idea. Okay, I think I'm a little safer now. After a minute or 2, I got smart and realized it would be much safer to just dig around the outside of this spawner, eventually opening up a hole to the spawner where I could place down a bunch of torches so no more mobs spawn. To my surprise, it turns out this thing was a skeleton spawner, which it is significantly better than a zombie spawner in my opinion. Well, yeah, obviously a big surprise that this is a skeleton spawner, but what do we have in the chest? Okay, nothing too great in this chest, although I did just learned that we now have copper horse armor. I did not know that was a thing. Oh, we also have pumpkin seeds. Okay, that's not too bad. That means we can make a pumpkin melon farm in the future. And then what do we have in this chest? Also nothing too great. We did get 2 golden apples out of these chests, which is kind of neat, but honestly I don't care too much about those because I kind of always forget when I do have them. Before leaving the skeleton spawner, I realized it might be a good idea to kind of use this as a base camp, so I cleared out some of my inventory into one of these chests and emerged from the spawner, starting to explore the rest of this cave. Similar to earlier, I'm just gonna spend a minute lighting up the caves as much as possible, and then I will go back through collecting up all of the ores. But not long into this mining expedition, I ran into my first pack of diamonds. Although I didn't have any blocks to build up with, so I collected up a couple pieces of cobblestone so I can tower up to these. And it was just a 3-pack, but let's not forget I already have 2 diamonds back up at the surface. Continuing on after collecting those diamonds, I started to run into a bunch more mobs, but luckily I do have a shield, so they weren't very hard to deal with. But before I could continue much further, I did run into even more diamonds. This time it was only a 2-pack, but this now takes us up to a grand total of 7 diamonds, which I would say is not too bad for day 20. Once I had this area all lit up, I could then collect up the rest of the ores. I was just too giddy to not collect up those diamonds immediately. Oh, and there goes my pickaxe, but luckily I was smart enough to bring a second one, and I also have all of my iron with me in case I need to craft any more pickaxes or any more shields, which I probably will need to craft because this one has already taken a frickin' beating. Eventually, as I kept heading higher up into this cave, I did run into a pretty massive section, which wasn't down in the deep slate, but this wasn't the worst thing ever because something I've really struggled with collecting so far in this challenge is coal, and this cave happened to be absolutely freaking full of it. It was a bit difficult to light this thing up just because it was pretty large and there was a bunch of mobs in here. But after a few close calls and a lot of torches placed down, I was able to start collecting this stuff up. Man, I never thought I would be so excited to just come across some coal. But as I said, it has been extremely difficult to find this stuff so far in this challenge. And honestly, I kind of hate having to smelt logs into charcoal. Eventually, I did make my way back down into the deep slate area where I ran into 2 more packs of diamonds that I, obviously collected up. And then I also grabbed all of the other ores around it. And there goes my second iron pickaxe, and I could head straight back up to the surface right now, but there's still quite a bit of iron I've passed by that I haven't collected up yet, so I'm actually going to make myself a crafting table real quick so I can make another pickaxe, and then I actually want to make a another shield because this one is almost broken. Oh my god, my inventory is so freaking full. There we go. Now I can make another shield, and I could probably just get rid of that diorite. Not necessary to have that. And then I'm just going to combine these 2 shields together so I can keep exploring around for a little while. Oh my god, you have no idea how tempting it is to go get the diamonds right there. Right there. Is there more up there? I can't tell, but I do know there's more right there. It is so tempting. It's insane. But there's a ton of mobs down there, and I don't know if I want to take my chances quite yet. Oh yeah, and there's some more right there, but we have that skeleton. Dude, you are kidding. This cave is bonkers. I did eventually decide to bridge over to the diamond in the ravine, which was super sketchy because there's a bunch of skeletons below me, but I was able to grab the single diamond that it was. And then I made my way back over to that other diamond where I also sort of had to bridge to collect it up. You know what? I am extremely happy with what I have gotten during this mining trip. We're now up to 9 diamonds, over 2 stacks of iron, some redstone, lapis, copper, and everything else. So rather than pushing my luck here, I am going to make my way back up to the surface. Once back up to the starter house, I used the only deep slate I had to craft 2 more furnaces so I can start smelting up all of this copper, iron, and gold I just collected up. Something I did just notice is that we must have been mining like directly below the starter house because all of our sugarcane for the most part is completely grown up, and it also looks like the crops on the crop field back here have also grown up. And also this place is looking freaking insane. Look how cool this looks with the mix between potatoes, carrots, and wheat kind of all mixed together. I just absolutely, Oh no. Oh, that was an accident. Okay, well, I'm just gonna grab that and place that back in and use these 2 pieces of wheat to, breed up the cows so at least they don't go to waste. Anyways, as much as I'm loving my dainty little house here that we just built a couple of days ago, I am starting to feel a little bit cramped inside of it considering I do only have 2 double chests. And yes, I could build some more double chests higher up, but I feel like this place is gonna start feeling a little more like a storage shed if I do that. So with that being said, I have been kind of walking around the island, eyeing up maybe some places to build a little bit bigger of a home. And we have this spot right over here by this little lagoon that almost has sort of a small cliffside or a hill, which I think is going to be absolutely freaking perfect because the house I have in mind, I kind of want it to be up on stilts and then for it to have like a big platform that overhangs this lagoon here. Although there is a crap load of trees and foliage around that I am going to need to remove, which I kind of hate the idea of doing because this area is so freaking stunning. But I guess I'll just have to try and make it look as similar as possible by the time I'm done with the house. Although before I go ahead and remove all of those trees and foliage, I do want to harvest all of the crops here and plant them back in because when they're fully grown, they're not really doing anything for me. Oh, I just broke that rose bush. I gotta be careful when I'm harvesting these crops not to break any of the foliage around. The sun is now setting on day 22 and the mobs are going to start spawning, so I am just going to go ahead and sleep through the night. Awaking on the morning of day 23, one of the first things I did was use a bunch of the wheat I just collected to breed up the cows and sheep because I really want to try getting an enchantment table as soon as possible, which means I am going to need a crap load of leather. Moving on, I made my way over to the location where I am planning on doing a bunch of excavating. I ended up deciding on being a little more cautious and only removing the amount of trees I think I'll need removed, and later when I'm building, if I feel like the house is getting too crowded by the trees, then I'll just slowly remove more and more layers of them. Eventually, my iron pickaxe did break, and as I was making my way back over to the starter house, I realized I should also start planting all of my bamboo back down if I'm going to be building out of this block. I had about 4.5 to 5 stacks of bamboo shoots to my name, so I went over to the big sand beach in front of where I'm going to be building my house and planted all of this stuff in. Awaking on the morning of day 24, I grabbed the spruce sapling I got from the sunken ship, along with all of my jungle saplings, so I can start a small little tree farm, because I am going to need quite a bit of wood to build this house. Although one issue I am having is I really don't have much excess land on this island, so there's nowhere to really build a tree farm. But that's when I had a good idea and decided I could just build a little tree farm out in the middle of the ocean. Although I did realize while I was using my hoe to harvest the leaves from the oak trees that have already grown in, that once I get 4 spruce saplings, I'm not going to need a tree farm that looks like this, because I could just bone meal one of the taller spruce trees and get like a stack of logs every single time. Definitely not one of my brighter moments, but it has given me an idea for the future, which is to build some sort of pier out here, because I did start this 100-day challenge by fishing off the beach here, and I think it would be a little bit nostalgic maybe to have some sort of pier that I can do a little bit of fishing later on. Very quickly, one of the spruce trees grew up, so I used my hoe to harvest the leaves, getting myself 2 saplings along with a couple of logs, but I didn't really care about this for now. I really just wanted to get these saplings placed back in. We are now on to day 25 of this challenge, and I'm currently just waiting for the spruce trees to continue growing along with the oak trees, along with the absolute metric load of bamboo to grow in, which this is looking insane, and it's not even like halfway grown yet. As I was saying, I do want to collect up quite a bit of the dried mud blocks, or what is it called? Packed mud. Yeah, I want to collect up quite a bit of packed mud, because the block palette for this bigger house is going to be very similar to this right here, besides some added in spruce and oak. Luckily, I do have this nice little mine that I set up back on the first couple days of this challenge, which should be a solid spot to collect up quite a bit of mud. Once my iron pickaxe broke, I made my way back up to the surface to find another spruce tree had grown up. So I used my axe to chop this thing down and then used my hoe to collect up the saplings. Anyways, I need to craft myself another pickaxe, but rather than using 3 more pieces of iron to craft one, I think it's officially time to craft myself one of these diamond pickaxes right here. We do still have 8 more diamonds to our name, so I could make a couple more tools if I want to, but I'm just going to stick with the diamond pickaxe for now, because I really don't want to craft any more diamond tools or armor until I maybe have an enchantment table set up. The last thing I went ahead and did on day 25 was harvest up these 2 new oak trees that had grown in, and once I planted those saplings back in, I went ahead and made my way back over to our bed. Oh my god, there's a wandering trader. Oh my god, can I trade with this guy, or can I not do it when he's invisible? Oh my goodness. Okay, he's not really trading anything good, thank goodness, because I don't have any emeralds, so I couldn't even trade with him. Anyways, yeah, the only sapling he's trading is oak, which I don't really care about having. Anyways, the moon is starting to rise, so I am going to oh, you're kidding me. How's there a monster nearby already? Oh, that's not a good thing. That means there's like a creeper or a zombie outside. Luckily, to my surprise, I did not come across any mobs in the morning, so I quickly got to work on chopping down any of the spruce trees that had grown in. I quickly gathered more than 4 saplings, so with that being said, I planted in a 2x2 dirt area. Well, I actually planted in multiple of them where I can grow some 2x2 spruce trees and some 2x2 jungle trees. With the opportunity to grow the 2x2 spruce trees, I waited a few minutes for a couple of these things to grow in and spent the rest of day 26 and a decent amount of day 27 just harvesting these spruce trees and planting the saplings back down and waiting for the trees to grow, so on and so forth. And just by the time I'm done chopping this tree down, another one has grown in. Oh my god, they're literally all growing at once here. My iron axe did break though, so I'm gonna have to craft another, but instead of doing an iron axe, I think I'm also gonna upgrade to a, not a diamond hoe, but a diamond axe, because I am gonna be using my axe a whole lot more while I'm building this new house. That other spruce tree is is gonna have to wait because the sun is setting, which means it is time for me to sleep through the night. Awaking with a new day ahead of me, I chopped that remaining tree down and planted the saplings back in. And look at that, like immediately after, another one of the 2x2 spruce trees grew in. I'm gonna leave that for now because since I'm already upgrading most of my tools to diamond, I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade another by getting a diamond sword because the bamboo is pretty much done growing in, and by having a diamond sword, it's gonna make it way easier to harvest the 5 stacks that I've placed in. Although I am a little scared that I'm probably gonna break this thing by the time I'm done harvesting all this bamboo. Sad would be an understatement, considering I just went through more than half the durability on this brand new diamond sword, harvesting all of this bamboo. So hopefully this is the last time I need to harvest bamboo for this 100-day challenge, which I think it might be because I am filling up this double chest extremely quickly, which means this is probably going to take like multiple double chests of storage to hold all this bamboo. Okay, well, this is going to sound absolutely crazy, but it's not as much bamboo as I thought I was going to get. We have a full double chest here and about 2/3 of a double chest here, which is still a lot of bamboo, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was going to be like at least 3 double chests. Anyways, hopefully that is enough for at least the starter house, which I think it will be. For the rest of day 28, I opted to plant some 2x2 jungle trees in and waited for those to grow so I can harvest them, which might sound a little stupid since I am stranded on a jungle island, but as I mentioned earlier, I want to try and not remove like all of the trees on this island. So I feel like it might be smarter to set up some sort of a small tree farm for these jungle trees, obviously. Now on to day 29, and feeling like I had more than enough wood for this starter house, I ran around the island looking for a solid piece of sandy shoreline that I could take the sand from. I'm gonna need this sand to smelt into glass blocks and then further craft it into glass panes because I really want this house to have some windows. I also swam a little bit deeper down into the ocean to collect up quite a bit of clay, which I will also smelt into bricks so I can make maybe a brick fireplace and brick chimney, along with plenty of small pots and big pots for detailing. Well, and finally, by the afternoon of day 30, I feel like I have enough blocks together that I can actually build this house. I do think there is still going to be quite a bit of trees in the way and probably still a decent amount of terraforming, but I think it will be smarter to maybe start building the house and then removing things as I need to, so I don't end up like removing way more trees or way more dirt than I end up needing to. With that being said, I'm actually, you know what, I'm probably gonna sleep through the night and then get started on this house on day 31. So awaking on the morning of day 31, I started to make my way over to the area which I'm gonna be building this house and began throwing down some jungle logs to get an idea of just how big this thing is gonna be. Sadly, not too long into day 31, it did start raining, which is no good for time lapses, so I ended that and spent a couple of minutes removing some of the surrounding trees that I knew for a fact were going to be in the way. This wasn't too big of a deal because I did realize pretty early on that I'm not going to have nearly enough jungle logs to build this thing. So at least while I'm removing the trees, I know I'm getting myself a little bit closer to being able to complete this house. Now on to day 32, I got straight back into building this relatively large house. I originally was only going to make this thing 1 story since it's already taking up quite a large footprint on this island, but after some thinking, I decided to add on a small second floor, which I can maybe use as a bedroom and also a spot to set up an enchantment table. Now on to day 39 and the exterior being about 90% complete, it's time to make my way inside of this house to build some sort of interior. One of the first things I want to do is replace all of this grass because I'm not a peasant and I will not be sleeping in dirt. I opted to use upside down bamboo half slabs, which will save me quite a bit of bamboo in the long run since I'm only using half the amount I would be if I was using full blocks. Once I had the grass replaced with the bamboo on the first floor, I started to add in a ceiling using some jungle stairs along with some jungle planks, which I'm sure you guys can see there is a lot of wasted space in this build, but if I were to try and use that, it would take me so freaking long to come up with some ideas. I now needed to add in some sort of way to get up to the second floor, and it took me a little while to kind of decide where I wanted to put the staircase, but I opted just to put it up against this back wall since I have plenty of space, and the second floor isn't necessarily lined up perfectly with the first floor, so I am pretty limited on what I can do. By day 42, I made my way back over to the original starter house so I can grab a few of my items, aka just my bed, and place it down inside of our brand new mansion. Now, I am gonna be so honest here, but this building is so freaking difficult to decorate, it's insane. I mean, it's kind of an odd shape, like we have little nooks and crannies like this, but I'm also like, I really don't have any blocks to decorate with. Like, for example, never mind, I don't want to run all the way over to my chest, but I have no cobblestone or deep slate, so I can't even make any more furnaces. And yeah, I could take the furnaces out of the starter house, but I kind of want to leave that thing how it is, so at least as an interior for those of you guys who want to download this world on my Patreon and kind of explore around. So with that being said, now that my bed is inside of this house, I think we're actually going to take a break from the interior so I can maybe spend a little while, like, just kind of running around the world doing things, collecting up random blocks and other things. I think you guys know what I mean here, right? You know what I mean? For those of you guys who haven't noticed already, I am pretty close to being level 30, along with having more than enough materials to make a full enchantment setup. So something I'd like to get done pretty quickly here is turning that skeleton spawner we found earlier into some form of XP farm. I cannot believe it is now day 43 and I still do not have a single enchanted tool. So this is definitely at the top of the list of things I want to get done. Luckily, since I am going to have to do quite a bit of excavating around the skeleton spawner, I am going to be able to collect up a ton of deep slate, which I can use to make those furnaces I was not able to craft earlier. Since I have not gone to the nether yet and I don't have any soul sand, I'm just going to have to keep this XP farm pretty simple by not having any water elevator or drop that gets these skeletons down to half a heart. Maybe a little later once I am able to go get some soul sand, we will do that, but for now I'm just gonna let this be. Sadly, right when I was about to complete this thing, I realized I didn't have any wood or signs on me, so I did need to make one emergency trip up to the surface when it was nighttime. Luckily, I did not encounter any mobs, so I was able to grab some wood so I could craft some signs. And the last thing I need to do here is remove the torches, but also not get attacked by any skeletons. Let's make sure they spawn in. They should. Yep, we got skeletons spawning in. So after a couple seconds, we should start seeing them down here, hopefully. If I built everything right. I think I did, though. There we go. There is our first skeleton, so I can go ahead and take this guy out. And you know what? Oh, that is such a bummer. I didn't bring enough wood to, oh, you know what? Maybe I can put a slab down. I think drops can actually go through slabs. Yeah, they can. Okay, sweet. Yeah, we're good there. Oh, this is going to be so awesome. Now I have a great way to get some arrows, along with having another great way to get bones, which is a item I really like to use since I can craft this into bone meal. With the XP farm now complete, I spent a minute or two down here getting myself up to level 30 so I can make my way back up to the surface, and hopefully I am going to be able to craft all the bookshelves I need to make an enchantment table. Oh my god, dude, you're kidding. I'm a single book short from being able to craft the 15th bookshelf. Oh, that means I'm gonna have to wait now for one of these baby cows to grow up, which is gonna be like 10 minutes. Oh my god, it just hit me. I'm gonna need another book for the enchantment table too. Oh, and I don't think there's any adult cows on this island. I think I either brought them all into that pen or slaughtered them. Oh, we have a sheep. I thought that was a cow for a quick second because they look the same when they spawn in the jungle biome. Is there a mob over here? Did I see another sheep? God dang it. That's a mushroom. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to wait for some of those baby cows to grow up. You know what I can do though? I did just get all of this beef, which I can smelt into some steak. You know what? I guess while I wait for some of those baby cows to turn into adult cows, I can at least head back down into the cave because I still am going to need, I think, at least 5 pieces of obsidian, which, come to think of it, it probably wouldn't be the worst idea to bring a water bucket with me in case I run into a lava pool. Where did I put my buckets? There we go. Yeah, I'll take that one right there. I am literally freaking shaking right now. Oh my god, I did not know there is a creeper like directly behind me. Holy that was so scared. I just saw this world flash before my eyes. Once I eventually calmed down and my limbs were no longer shaking, I explored around the caves that I explored a little earlier because I do remember seeing some sort of lava pool. Luckily, it did not take very long to find this thing at all, so using my water bucket, I placed it down on top of the lava to get a bunch of obsidian, and not only harvested enough for the enchantment table, but I also harvested even more so I can make myself another portal a little bit later. Once I had 20 pieces of obsidian, I started to make my way back up to the surface and had a very close call because I fell out of a water stream, bringing me down to, I think it was 5 hearts, which was really terrifying because I could have easily fallen much further and died. Anyways, once back up to the surface, I was hoping one of the baby cows had grown up, but none of them had, and that's when I noticed that there was another cow inside of the sheep's pen, which I killed and did not get a single piece of leather, which means I am still just gonna have to wait until I can craft that 15th bookshelf. In the meantime, I spent the rest of day 46 harvesting up our fields, getting as much wheat, carrots, and potatoes as possible, because pretty soon I do want to build some bigger fields because I feel like this is not very efficient at the moment. On the morning of day 47 is when I realized I could use the wheat I just collected to grow up one of these baby cows super quickly, which kinda is not worth it at all because it took more than half a stack to get this guy to grow. But when I killed him, I did get 2 pieces of leather. Oh my god, finally, I think I can craft this 15th bookshelf along with the book I'm gonna need for the enchantment table. Let's go ahead and check. Okay, 2 books. I can make that enchantment table. Okay, now I'm all out of diamonds, so now I can make it the 15th bookshelf. Oh my god, I feel like that took way longer than it should have, but at least now I can actually start enchanting some of my tools, which, you know what, I think I'm actually gonna place this enchantment table down at the skeleton spawner, so I'm not having to run like up back to the surface every single time I want to enchant something. Luckily, I had plenty of space down at the skeleton spawner just to dig out a little area to place this enchantment table in. I just had to move some of the chest out of the way. Well, the pickaxe is showing Unbreaking 3. I think everything is. So hopefully we maybe get some fortune with the Unbreaking 3. I mean, that would be okay. That's not the worst pickaxe in the world, but I really would have loved, you know, fortune. What is everything else showing? Sharpness 3. That's not very good. Efficiency 4 on the shovel, and also efficiency 4 on the axe. You know what? For the time being, I am just gonna get myself back up to level 30 and enchant the rest of my tools, and then we'll figure out this situation with getting fortune on the axe or on the pickaxe. After smacking the skeletons quite a few times, I was able to get back up to level 30, and I decided to enchant my shovel, getting just efficiency 4 on it, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but that tool is not going to survive very long at all. This is about when I realized that my diamond sword is also probably not going to last very long, considering how many hits it's taking to kill these groups of skeletons. Taking a break from killing some skeletons at the skeleton XP farm, I made my way over to a nearby cave I discovered a little bit earlier because I remember seeing some diamonds in there, which should allow me to craft another diamond pickaxe and hopefully be able to get fortune on it. Although there was a metric shitload of mobs protecting these diamonds, so it took quite a while to clear these things out. And once most of the mobs were gone, I quickly discovered that there is another skeleton spawner like right next to me. I decided just to light this thing up and move on since it's not super important to me at the time being, and finish clearing out some more mobs so I can collect up these diamonds. The first diamond vein I found had 3 diamonds, which is pretty sweet considering normally when like diamonds are showing, it's usually like 1, maybe 2 diamonds. So I'm happy we got 3, and then I made my way over to the other diamond vein I found, which had 2 diamonds, bringing me up to a grand total of 5 diamonds. I did explore around for a little while and opted to stop just because I really don't want to push my luck here, and made my way back to the original cave I was in. I cannot believe I have run into another skeleton spawner, which is pretty close to the other one, but it's just far enough away where I can't do a double spawner. Although I haven't checked what we have in the chest. We got some diamond horse armor. That's pretty sweet. And in the other chest, we have 2 more golden apples and a bunch of other crap. I'm gonna let this thing be for now because I really don't have a use for it. And I am going to make my way back over to the other spawner. Oh no, oh no. I need to be so careful. I hate having fire aspect on my swords because the mobs keep catching me on freaking fire. I'm just gonna, yeah, go back over to the spawner. Once back up to level 30, I decided to enchant my diamond axe, getting just Unbreaking 3 on it, which isn't the worst, but also isn't the best. Using the new diamonds I collected, I crafted another diamond pickaxe pickaxe, hoping I could maybe get a little bit better of an enchantment on this one. Oh my god, and amazing enough, it is showing Fortune 3, and we pretty much got the perfect Fortune 3 pickaxe we could get. Holy crap, I am so freaking stoked about that. I do still have 2 more diamonds though, which I kind of want to, you know, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make myself another diamond sword just because I can and get myself back up to level 30 one more time. And please, hopefully something, okay, Smite 4 isn't bad. I already have Smite 4, but hopefully we get some Unbreaking or something. Oh dude, you're kidding. So now I can just combine these to get Smite 5, which I guess isn't the worst thing in the world, but not exactly what I was hoping for. Maybe it wasn't the smartest idea to craft another diamond sword when I probably could have just repaired my diamond axe. Anyways, I'm gonna head back up to the surface. Arriving back up to the surface on the morning of day 51, I made my way into our new house so I can start figuring out just how I want to decorate this interior. Once I had an idea of what I wanted to build, I made my way back over to our starter house so I could begin crafting the crap load of items I'm gonna need. The first room I want to build inside of this new house is some sort of kitchen, and I have this little nook next to the front door that I think will be a perfect spot for the kitchen, or at least that's what I thought, until I realized that it's just way too small to be able to put enough furnaces in that will make me happy. So I ended up removing all of this and moving the kitchen over to this much larger area, which I should have just originally done because it is a much better fit. My main goal, not only for this kitchen but the entire interior, is to make it as detailed as possible, even though honestly I don't have that many blocks to detail with. So I just kind of got a bunch of pots and flowers and all different types of things to make this thing look as nice as I could. With the kitchen complete, I then moved back over to that little nook because I realized this would be a perfect spot for some sort of armory that I can have my anvil in. Moving on to the next area is I want to build a storage room, or it doesn't necessarily need to be a room, just some sort of wall that has enough chests that should be able to last me for at least the remainder of this 100-day challenge. And I felt like the opposite wall of the house across from the kitchen should suffice. I started by doing this weird kind of wall extension thing, which really didn't work out, so I ended up removing this thing and ended up just doing 8 double chests, which I think should be enough storage. Holy crap, and finally by the morning of day 55, I have the downstairs of this interior mostly complete, and I also spent about an entire day getting all of my items moved over from the starter house, organized into all of my new chests. Anyways, I really did not touch the upstairs besides adding in a ton of picture frames, which I think my favorite one is this one right here. Who doesn't like waking up in the morning just staring at someone riding a pig that's dressed up? Anyways, as I mentioned, my diamond axe is about to break, and I also really want to try getting efficiency on it since it just has Unbreaking 3. So I think I'm actually going to head back down into the cave so I can hopefully find maybe a couple more diamonds that I can use my fortune pickaxe to harvest, so we get a couple more, and then get up to level 30 so I can enchant this axe, hopefully getting some efficiency 4 on it, because I have a pretty big project planned, and it does involve removing a pretty massive chunk of forest. So that being said, I am going to get to it. After getting some items together, it was now raining on day 55, which felt like a good time to head over to that cave. I'm going to continue exploring the cave I've been in so far because there is still a huge portion I have not explored nor have I lit up. But once I got over there, there was a crap load of mobs in here, which made me realize I have a bunch of enchanted bows back at the house that I got from the skeleton spawner. So I went back up to the surface to combine all these together using pretty much all of my XP, but I did end up with a Unbreaking 3 and Power 3 bow, which should make it a lot easier to clear out the mobs in the caves. I just need to stop at the skeleton spawner to get a little bit more arrows. From there, I could start exploring the caves I have not lit up yet, taking out all of the mobs using my brand new bow, which I am so stoked I thought of this because it did make it a hell of a lot easier. Dude, you're freaking kidding me. That creeper exploded and look what it showed. And we had some diamonds. Oh, that is so awesome. I just want to light this up a little bit more because I know there was still a ton more mobs up here. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. All right, let's go see how many diamonds we get from this using our fortune pickaxe. And oh my god, it was a 5-pack, which got us up to 10 diamonds. Sweet. Okay, we just doubled the amount there. Oh, that's like more than I even need, but I feel like I got those so fast that I should continue exploring around the caves for a little longer, along with probably harvesting up all the iron. And would you look at that? We have another spawner, but this one is a spider spawner, which is really cool, but I actually don't really care about because I feel like spider... Oh, is that a notch apple? That is a notch apple. Oh, dude, that is... Okay, that's awesome. And we have more diamonds right here, although I want to light all this up, so... No creepers attack me. Get out of here. All right, what do we have in this chest? Okay, nothing too great in there. I do want to go back and grab those diamonds before I forget where they were. Okay, they're right here. We're good. Holy crap, we are already up to 41 diamonds and I've only been down here for like 10 minutes. I kind of forget how overpowered Fortune 3 can be sometimes. Especially when you're running through these mine shafts, because it's really easy to find diamonds, I feel like. Eventually, I did need to leave that mine shaft because it felt like it was just going on forever, and I really don't want to waste too many days mining when I could be up at the surface doing some building. And let's not forget, I still need to stop by the skeleton spawner to get some XP to enchant my axe, along with probably crafting some diamond armor, which I could also enchant. Holy shit, I cannot believe I just ended up with 46 diamonds in like 15 or 20 minutes. I also got a ton of redstone, gold, not too much iron, but at least I do know where the iron vein's at, so I can always go back there if I want to. But this is so freaking huge. This is... words can't even describe how huge this is for the rest of the challenge. Anyways, I'm gonna clear out my inventory a little bit and get to collecting up some levels so I can start enchanting my new tools along with the armor I will probably craft. I kind of forgot just how long it takes to get back up to level 30 when you're using a single spawner like I am right now. But eventually, once I did, I decided to craft a full suit of diamond armor along with one diamond axe. Hopefully we are showing something good on the axe. Okay, we're now showing just unbreaking. What about the boots and helmet? Ooh, aqua infinity could be nice, but honestly, I'd rather have a respiration on it, and we have flame on the bow. I'm just gonna go for it on the axe. Hopefully we get some efficiency. Okay, efficiency 3 is better than nothing, but definitely not efficiency 4. Ooh, the boots are now showing depth strider 3, which I definitely want, so I'm gonna get back up to level 30 one more time. Once back up to level 30, I enchanted those diamond boots, getting a great set of boots that had unbreaking 3 on them, and then crafted some new diamond tools that I could also enchant because my existing ones aren't too good. Holy crap, it is already day 60 here. I'm gonna enchant one last thing, which is gonna be a bow because it is showing infinity on it, which I would really like to have. But for the rest of the diamond armor, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and throw on what I have because I really don't want to spend any more time enchanting tools down here. So with that being said, I am going to make my way back up to the surface. Well, as I mentioned earlier, there is a pretty big project I want to work on that involves removing a ton of these trees. And luckily I do have my really good diamond axe that has efficiency 3 and unbreaking 3 on it, so it shouldn't take too long to remove these trees. That project I want to work on is building some sort of home or barn for all of these animals because I really hate that they're taking up this really nice spot of beach here. And I don't really want to relocate them until I have somewhere for them to go. So my thought is that this area up here is relatively flat and also pretty large. So it should be a nice spot for adding in a barn along with maybe a couple animal pens. I just might need to clear out a little more trees. I hate clearing out trees when I don't need to because I really don't want this island to feel like just a grassy island with no trees on it. Ultimately, I realized that I am definitely going to need to clear out a little bit more trees to make enough space for the barn along with all of the animal pens I plan on building. Although I did end up having a really close call, which scared the crap out of me. I am literally freaking shaking right now. That's the only scary thing about jungles is there's a lot of spaces for mobs to spawn. Once I calmed down a bit, I got straight back into removing a couple more trees along with grabbing a couple stacks of dirt so I can do some small terraforming just to flatten this area out a little bit more. All right, we are now on to the morning of day 62, and this little plateau area I've been working on is looking really good, but I have been thinking a little bit, and I'm not sure if I actually want to build a barn up here, or if I want to build some sort of jungle shrine or jungle temple, which is something I did want to do before this 100 days was up, and I just feel like it wouldn't be a good idea to use like this high part of the island. I mean, if we go into orthocam, you can clearly see it's the highest point, which would definitely be the best for a jungle shrine. So instead, instead, I think I'm gonna do exactly what I said I wasn't gonna do, is I'm gonna remove a crap load of trees over here because I should also have enough space to maybe build the barn here. I just gotta get rid of this little lagoon pond thing. Ultimately, I'm glad I decided to clear out a bunch more trees because I was having a very difficult time deciding on what I want to build on this island and exactly where I'm gonna build it. This blooming biosphere mod definitely makes the jungles a lot more chaotic, so even though I didn't want to clear out a bunch of trees, I ultimately do think it was the right decision. Well, it appears we might have some visitors here on the island. Where did these guys go? I just saw them. Oh, there he is. Is he all by himself? Is it just a singular dude? Get out of here. Oh, no, there's the other one. Get this one. Oh, come on, come on. All right, that's two of them. Is there a third or a fourth? As you can clearly tell, it is raining again. I think those were the only two pillagers. And I also got a Omnius bottle and an Omnius banner, which I'll put the banner, let's say right here in the original house, and I'll put the bottle in here since I don't have a use for it. And I'm gonna get back to cleaning up this area. We are now on to day 64 and the rain has all cleared up, and I am definitely starting to have a vision here of exactly what I want this area to look like. I was a little concerned that I might not have enough space to put a barn here, but I think it's gonna be plenty large enough because I can kind of do the barn in this area and then maybe some smaller animal pens off to the right side, and then have a nice pathway come up here where the temple is gonna go, and then that pathway can also connect up to the unfinished pathway between the big house and the starter house. With that being said though, I don't even think I'm going to need to collect up any blocks at all because I have a crap load of jungle logs along with bamboo, which is mainly what I'm going to be using, and I even have a stack or so of, oh no, two stacks of spruce logs if I want to use any of that for some trim or detailing. So with that being said, I think it's about time I get started with this barn, considering it is now day 64 and time is freaking flying by. Let's get to it. First things first, I started off by just placing the main post for this barn in, which I started with it facing in one direction, but then after thinking about it for a little bit, I decided to switch the direction of it just because I didn't want all of the roof lines to line up, and also I don't think there's quite enough space to put it the other way, which luckily I had a very good idea of what I wanted to build and the blocks I also wanted to use. Since this is a jungle island at the end of the day, I want to try and use as little spruce as possible since it's not native to the jungles. So far, I think this barn has turned out freaking sick. The only thing, I wish there was another block that was a little bit closer to the jungle log color, not being spruce logs, because my brain is definitely having a hard time comprehending the difference between those two blocks. But I think once this thing is complete and I do some detailing around the outside, the blocks will probably blend together a little bit more. Also, this thing turned out a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Not that that's a huge issue. I just think it's going to dwarf the starter house next to it and almost be comparable in size to our bigger house over here, which it looks like we're actually missing some blocks back there. Anyways, for now I've decided just to do a wall along this side, but I think I'm actually going to add in a little doorway right here because I am going to have an animal pen out here, and I don't think there's going to be quite enough space to have a walkway going to that animal pen, so it might just be easier to make the entrance for that animal pen going through the barn. All right, well, enough talking. I'm going to get back to it. As I just mentioned, I decided to add in that third entrance where the animal pen is going to go, just because I don't want to get too far into building this thing and then have to tear down an entire wall and maybe even a roof just to fit this in. And by day funny number, the exterior of this barn is pretty much complete. I just need to finish up on the inside, which I have this huge piece of ceiling that I need to figure out what I'm going to do with, but I'm waiting for some more bamboo to grow in so I can make some scaffolding, because I think it's going to make it a hell of a lot easier placing the blocks all the way up there. In the meantime, while the bamboo is growing, I think I'm going to start working on this pathway. First off, by completing the pathway from the bigger house to the starter house, and then building the pathway over to the entrance of the barn. I placed in a bunch of packed mud blocks kind of randomly and then came back through using some upside down jungle slabs or even full jungle blocks, which is when I realized I could also use my hoe to turn some of this grass into farmland and plant some crops in, along with planting in some sugarcane, which I think will give the pathway a nice overgrown look since, you know, it is a jungle at the end of the day and everything should be somewhat overgrown. By this point, more than enough bamboo had grown in, so I harvested this and crafted a handful of scaffolding so I could finish off the interior of this barn by working on this middle section. I was a little stuck on deciding if I just wanted it to be a solid roof or if I wanted it to be a loft, but I did craft over a stack of jungle trapdoors, so I just decided to do a loft so I wouldn't waste these trapdoors. With the interior mostly complete, I stepped back outside to finish up this large animal pen that's going to go off to the side of the barn, which I kept pretty simple, just using some jungle logs with some spruce slabs on top of them and plenty of bamboo fence posts so I can bring in a little bit more of that stuff. Once I had the outside pen complete, the last thing I needed to do was to grab some wheat and bring the cows over to their new pen, which is going to be this one that's outside, which I thought was going to be extremely difficult to move them, but it actually ended up not being that bad at all. So somehow one of the cows managed to climb up the ladder and now it's stuck there, so I'm just gonna let it be. Actually, if I take the wheat out of my hand, is it still gonna be stuck? Yeah, it is. Okay, I don't think I can ever go up there ever again because it would be so funny if he's stuck there for the rest of this challenge. Moving on to the sheep, I decided to kill a bunch of these guys since this pen was literally overflowing. It would be a hell of a lot easier transporting these guys if there's only like 5 of them instead of 30. Now the last animal I have left is just the chickens, but I kind of think it might be easier if I just let these guys be for now and collect up as many eggs as possible so I can just throw them in their pen and hopefully we get some hatched chickens. Okay, we got one. Are we gonna get a second one here? No, we did not. We just have the one lonely chicken, so we'll have to continue harvesting the eggs from the other pen. And by the morning of day 73, I think we can call this barn complete, which yeah, I am so freaking stoked with how this thing turned out. I imagined it would look something like this, but I didn't imagine it would look nearly this good and fit this well within the jungle. The only part of the interior I have yet, oh no, the cow, he's gone. Oh, this poor guy, he just well, I guess that means I could work on this upstairs being the loft, but I'm not sure what I want to put up here yet, so I'm just gonna leave it empty for the time being. I do quickly want to get moving on though, because it is obviously now day 73 like I said, which means I only have like 27 days left of this challenge and there is so much more I want to do. I think before I get into any building though, I actually want to do a little bit of cleanup around the island because I still do have the tree farm, which I am no longer using down here, along with the animal pens, which I have some plans for this area, so yeah, all of this stuff is going to need to be you know, cleared out. Although before removing the chicken pen, I did collect up all the eggs from it so I can throw them in the new pen in the barn, which thank God I was able to get 2 more chickens out of this so I can finally get rid of the mass horde of chickens in the pen down on the beach. Once I had the pens and tree farm cleared out, I made my way over in front of our new bigger house to clean up the shoreline just a bit. I wasn't a huge fan of how it kind of looked like a square or like a corner on one end of the island, so I want to round this out a touch just to make it look a little bit more organic. Yeah, that is looking a lot better in my opinion. It also is going to give me a little bit more space for a project that is going to involve the ship a little bit later. Anyways, before I jump the gun and get going on that, I do want to build this jungle temple / shrine, which is going to go right up here, but I am like completely out of cobblestone and stone. Actually, I never really had any because I haven't been building out of it so far, and I have yet to build like a strip mine or dig out any stone, so yeah, I don't have much of that stuff. With that being said though, I am gonna need a lot of it for that jungle temple, and it's mainly gonna be stone, so I think I'm actually gonna grab some diamonds here along with some lapis, because I'd like to go back down to the skeleton spawner and maybe get myself a silk touch pickaxe. Oh, you know what though? It actually probably wouldn't be the worst idea either to maybe make myself a grindstone, which I don't, how are they made again? Is it like that? No, it's definitely not that. After a little look up online real quick, it should just be that. There we go. Yeah, now we have a grindstone. I also grabbed a couple of buckets so I can grab some lava sources once we're down in the caves, because it would also be nice to maybe set up some sort of cobblestone generator up at the surface to make it a lot easier to collect up that stone. Anyways, I am gonna make my way down to the skeleton spawner. Let's see if first try here I can get myself the silk touch on this pickaxe. I don't even know what it's showing right now. It's showing efficiency 4, maybe some silk touch. Nope. Okay. This kind of sucks, but I am gonna get rid of that and continue killing the skeletons down here. Once I was back up to level 30, I enchanted the pickaxe and got efficiency 4 again. So I disenchanted this thing and got myself back up to 30 for a third time. And this time got efficiency 4 plus unbreaking 3, but still no silk touch. So I disenchanted this. Hopefully this will be the final time having to get myself back up to level 30, because at this time I know for sure that it is showing silk touch. So at least I'll be able to get that. And we also got efficiency 4 and unbreaking 3 on it, which is absolutely huge to have that. Although it is now day 77, I spent way longer down here than I thought I was going to, because I did not think it was going to be quite that difficult just to get silk touch on a freaking pickaxe. Oh my god. Oh my, get out of here. Holy, scared the crap out of me. Oh, that's such a funny animation when you're on fire. You stick your arms up in the air. But I'm gonna get in the water. I did end up realizing I forgot to get some lava sources when I was down in the cave, but instead of going back down there and spending more time running around, I opted just to go over to the original hole I dug at the very beginning of this challenge to collect up a couple stacks of stone along with a couple stacks of cobblestone and even a little bit of andesite. Once I had a couple stacks of this stuff collected, I then used a pair of shears to collect up a whole bunch of vines from all of the jungle trees, because I do want to use some mossy cobblestone and stone brick, which means I'm gonna need vines in order to craft this stuff. So my thought for this jungle temple slash shrine is to try and build almost like one of those like stone pyramids, something that you would see down in like the Yucatan of Mexico or something. I mean, here's an image so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm thinking. And then at the top of it is where I want to put my nether portal, since I don't have one yet, and I think it'll be a really cool spot to put one. Luckily, this should be actually pretty easy to build, since it is just a square that's going to step up 1 block at a time. Using that image I just showed you guys, I used it as a reference to slowly build up layer by layer, trying to use all the different variants of this gray stone, being andesite stone and mossy cobble, along with adding in some stone stairs here and there just to add a little bit more texture to this build. Eventually, I did actually run out of stone, so I had to go back down into the little mine that I've been using so far to collect up a couple more stacks of this stuff so I can finish off this temple build. This temple is looking fantastic. It's not completely done just yet because I am waiting on some more clay to smelt so I can make some more pots to kind of scatter around this thing. But while I wait for that to smelt, I am going to bring in a couple jungle saplings because I do want to grow a few more trees in this area because it does feel a little bland. Oh, see, that is not what I wanted, a low tree. No. I pretty much want all of the trees to be like the super tall ones that originally spawned on this island. Right, take 2. Hopefully it's a little taller. Okay, yeah, that will work. And let's go into orthocam and see what it looks like now, because it was looking pretty bland before. Yeah, I like that, but I am going to also use some of this bone meal to grow some grass because it does need that also. It is also still missing a pathway, but luckily that is not a problem that will take too long to solve. I'm just gonna do very similar to what I've done so far, something a little bit like that. Then actually, I think I'm gonna push this back a little bit and bring in some stairs instead, and that should get the job done. There's staircases on all 4 sides of this thing. I don't think I'm gonna connect them all up. I mean, I guess I could connect this one up. Yeah, you know, why not? I might as well. For the other two staircases, I'm not really going to do anything with them because this one's on the very back, which there's nothing back here. And then on the other side, it's just a little cramped and there also isn't a pathway here, so I don't really feel like it's necessary. Although I am going to need to get quite a bit more obsidian because I was only able to get one portal placed in and part of another one, and I still need all the obsidian for these ones. So with that being said, I made my way back down into the cave system to look for the lava pool that I flooded earlier, which luckily was not very hard to find, so I collected up the rest of the obsidian I'm going to need for these portals, along with a couple extra just in case. Now that I have these final pieces of obsidian, I can just go ahead and place in the rest of this stuff. And now I can light all 3 of them. And oh yeah, now I'm completely surrounded by portals, but I'm sure that is going to look so freaking cool from down here. Yeah, I love how the nether portals look too with shaders. They just glow so much better, I think. Although I'm not going to go into the nether quite yet because I do want to go grab something in a few minutes. But first I want to clear out my inventory a little bit and kind of clear my mind almost. Finally, with my inventory and mind cleared out, I want to go ahead and jump straight into this next project, which is going to be building a little bit bigger of a crop field since the one we currently have is quite small. Luckily, there is a pretty good spot to build this right in front of our house where this lagoon is, which does feel a little bit wrong getting rid of this lagoon that I love so much, but there is going to need to be sacrifices on this island since I am pretty contained on the space I have. First things first, I actually decided to build a pathway from the house all the way over to the shipwreck just to give myself a border so I don't build this crop field too big. And once I had that done, I could go through with all of my dirt replacing the water and also the mud. I was hoping 3 stacks would be more than enough to do this, but it obviously was not. So I dug underneath our house and cleared out a bunch of dirt, which should be fine because as long as I fill this thing with torches and fill the entrance that I went into, I'm just going to act like this thing never existed and you guys are going to forget about it just like me. With that being said, I could get straight back into building this crop field. Once I had all of the crops placed in, I did realize that I'm gonna need a little bit more lighting down by these crops or else mobs are definitely gonna be spawning. Something was still feeling off with this crop field, so using a bunch of leftover bamboo fence posts along with some jungle logs, I did a similar look to the cow pen by doing a couple of fence posts and then placing in a jungle log with a spruce slab on top of it for some structure. I wasn't going to, but I opted to do this along the back of the farm too, where the jungle really starts to creep in on this farm, just so I don't accidentally fall on the crops and trample them, or like no mobs or anything do that either. Okay, well this farm is looking absolutely great. I love how I did the fence post along with the jungle log similar to the cow pen, but there is absolutely no time to waste and I need to get straight into the next project I want to work on because there's so many I still want to do. Over by the old cow pens, or at least where they used to be, we have this little piece of sand that I kind of want to build up a little more and then maybe build a house with a lighthouse on top of it, because at the end of the day this is an island and we want a way for ships that are incoming to see our island so they don't crash into here and destroy our stuff. So with that being said, I got straight into collecting up all of the items I'm gonna need for this lighthouse, and luckily I do have most of the stuff, but 2 items I definitely want to collect up is a decent amount of white concrete, which is relatively easy since it just requires bone meal and gravel and sand, and then I also want some red concrete, which is the same recipe but it just uses red dye instead of white dye. Oh no, I just realized my efficiency freaking shovel has fortune on it, which means I'm just getting stacks upon stacks of oh my god, the dolphin is so annoying. Get out of here. I'm just getting stacks of flint here. Okay, I am gonna need to figure out a solution to this, like maybe getting a different type of shovel here. So for like the 3rd or 4th time, I made my way back down to the skeleton spawner to quickly get myself up to level 30, which did not take too long at all, so I can enchant another shovel. All right, let's pray that I can get efficiency first try on this shovel. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Of course I just get Unbreaking 3, and I also used all of my enchanted bows to get myself up to level 30 even faster using the disenchanter, but I'm pretty much all out and I'm not going to disenchant my good bows here. Okay, let's try and do this one more time. Thank god this time I know I am definitely going to end up with efficiency 4 on my shovel because it is oh my god, are you freaking kidding me? I forgot to bring more lapis with me. Please tell me I have some in the chest. Okay, thank god. Okay, now I can enchant this and get efficiency 4 with no one breaking, but that's fine because it's already already day 87 or 86. Okay, let's go back up to the surface so I can get back to collecting up all those blocks. Luckily, before getting back up to the surface, I did have a realization that gravel spawns a lot down in these caves. So I ran around looking for some gravel veins, collecting up as much as I possibly can, so I don't need to come back down here again. Honestly, if just under 5 stacks isn't enough gravel, I will genuinely be surprised because yeah, it should just be enough. Moving on, I now need to go collect up a bunch of sand if I don't already have a ton. Luckily, I think I am gonna have more than enough sand, so I'm just gonna go ahead and craft, what is that? Is that 1 stack? I want to craft 2 stacks of each, which should be more than enough for this project. I just now need to turn all of this concrete powder into actual concrete. Luckily, I think if I just put my pickaxe in my offhand and then place this, no, it's vice versa. I put the block in that hand and then just, yeah, there we go. Look at this. It works so well. Once I had 2 stacks of red and white concrete, I made my way over to the pit I've been digging out, because I do want to collect up another stack or 2 of packed mud, because I am going to be using this in this next build. Moving on, I am also starting to run a little bit low on jungle wood, so I found a nice spot to bone meal one of the 2x2 jungle trees so I could chop it down, getting about 1.5 stacks of logs from a single tree, which should be more than enough. And finally, by the morning of day 88, I think I am ready to start building this lighthouse here. I'm only missing 1 item, which is some redstone lamps that will go on the top to kind of act as like a spinning light that shines out along the shore, or at least the ocean, but I'm gonna wait to go into the nether until I get this thing done. The first thing I needed to do for this lighthouse was to actually use the couple stacks of sand I have left over to build more of a platform for this lighthouse to go on top of. With a good working area now done, I could begin using some jungle logs to place in the corners just to get an idea of how big I want this lighthouse to be. And I was gonna do 9x7, but I opted to do 5x7 instead, because I felt if I went with the bigger one, it would kind of dwarf the other buildings on this island. Once I had the lower building complete, I could then move on to the actual lighthouse portion of it by bringing in the red and white concrete, which I quickly realized that this thing kind of just looked like poop, so I tore the entire thing down so I could start over. You know, I really wanted to wait to go into the nether until I had this building pretty much complete and all I needed was the redstone lamps, but I've realized that I kind of want to get some quartz so I can maybe build some or make some quartz stairs, which I can use as almost a blending block, because this lighthouse tower is going to step in a few blocks as it makes its way up, and going like this, I feel like it's too harsh of a like difference there. So with that being said, I used some gold to make myself a golden helmet so no piglins attack me. Well, here we go. Hopefully we get somewhat of a decent spawn and like we don't spawn right over the top of lava. Ooh, okay, this actually is not the worst thing in the world. We're in another waste biome, which I think is actually best case scenario because I don't really have to deal with any skeletons or anything. Okay, I am going to start collecting up as much quartz as possible. Oh, where did that gas shoot from? Which one was that? Oh, he's right there. See if we can get this guy. Yeah, we got him. Hell yeah. Once I had a couple stacks of quartz, I did come across some glowstone veins, which I did remember to bring my silk touch pickaxe to make harvesting these things a little bit easier. I'm now up to like 10 stacks, so I think that should be able to make at least 3 stacks of quartz blocks, which I think should be good, along with 29 glowstone should be enough for all of the redstone lamps I want to make. But now that I'm in the nether, I also kind of want to try looking for a nether fortress to maybe get some blaze rods for something I might be able just to squeeze in before this 100 days is up. Ooh, I see you over there. You're not sneaking up on me, buddy. I'm gonna do it. Look, yep, get over here, dude. Get over here. Right, taking you out. Let's see if we can get a couple ender pearls. Oh, we got a single one from that. Nice. Okay, if you can't tell already, the thing I have planned is maybe I might just be able to actually go into the end and fight the ender dragon. It's definitely going to be a little tight though. So with that being said, I spent the next day and a half collecting up at least 16 ender pearls, so I should have enough to actually find the end portal and then fill in all of the end portal block things. This took longer than I thought it was going to, but I guess if I had looting, it would have gone much quicker. What didn't take very long at all was finding another fortress. hopefully this should kind of help keep everyone contained. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Come on, eat some food. From here, I spent another 10 to 15 minutes collecting up at least 8 blaze rods, which will be enough to make all of those eyes of ender that I'm gonna need. This did turn out to be a complete pain in the ass though, because blazes are so freaking difficult to kill. Okay, I'm officially up to 9 blaze rods, which I think should be way more than enough, but now I just need to get the hell out of here as fast as possible. Oh no, I just realized I still need nether wart. Oh no, he dropped a ghast here. Okay, anyways, I need to get back into that fortress so I can get a couple pieces of nether wart. Freaking skeleton, bro, get out of here. Okay, we're officially in the fortress. Get over here, pal. Definitely want to get some torches in my offhand. Where's this guy? There he is. I can start lighting up as much as this as possible. Because I kind of forgot just how dark these nether fort. Oh, don't tell me this is a dead end. Ooh, we do have stairs right here. Okay, that's a great sign. Oh my god, it is so freaking dark in here. I need to do the same thing on that side. Let's collect up all of this stuff because I am definitely going to need it. Nope, nothing back here. Okay, I am going to get out of this fortress because I feel like I'm pushing my luck here. And it is also now day 92, which I'm also pushing the time like really close. Luckily, the journey back to the portal didn't take too long. It just required a whole bunch of food. Arriving back to the overworld on the evening of day 92, it of course had to be raining and a thunderstorm, so I quickly slept through the night. We are now on to the morning of day 93, and I've made an executive decision. Before I head out on the adventure to go find the end portals and then go into the end to kill the ender dragon, I actually want to, finish this lighthouse and maybe finish up the island as much as possible, just in case I die. For those of you guys that want to download the world with my Patreon, at least you'll have like a mostly finished world. Where I feel like it would kind of suck if I died and then like the projects were left uncompleted. Like that one literally has no freaking roof on it. So getting straight back into this lighthouse project, I brought in the red and white concrete to build up the actual lighthouse portion of this structure. I originally had it just being 3x3 blocks, but I ended up making it a little bit bigger so it can kind of thin out in the middle and then get thicker at the top. Ultimately, I did not love how the top portion of this lighthouse turned out with the redstone lamps and just kind of the structure and figure of it. It kind of reminds me of something else, and yeah, we might have to fix this a little bit later or in the next 100 days on this world. Like I said, I really don't love how the top of the lighthouse is looking. It kind of looks like something else that I am definitely not going to name, but with it now being day 95, I feel like I need to give myself at least 5 days to find the end portal, kill the ender dragon, and hopefully get back here with a day or two to spare so I can maybe clean this thing up along with doing a few more things around the island. With that being said though, I am going to go ahead and get everything together that I am going to need for this ender dragon fight, which luckily I shouldn't need too much because I already have an infinity bow with power 3 on it, so that should work pretty dang well. What I am going to do though, actually, you know what, real quick, I do want to grab a bunch of lapis because I'm going to go down to the enchantment table to enchant all of my armor since I am now level 41. Now the only enchantment that I really want to try getting is, my boots are already upgraded. Okay, never mind. I'm just going to go ahead and do all of my armor real quick, and that's not too bad. Blast protection on the pants, we got some protection 3 on the helmet and protection 4 on the chest plate, which is pretty good. I guess I can also go ahead and enchant another bow because I am still level 32, and that we just got unbreaking 3. Okay, well at least I can combine that with my other bow to get a pretty solid one with the infinity on it. So I can throw this infinity bow in, and then I actually have another power 3 unbreaking 3 bow, so I can get this up to power 4. Unbreaking 3 infinity, which is a really dang good bow. One of the last things I want to do is actually craft myself a brewing stand, which I'll just go ahead and throw down right there because I want to try getting some regeneration potions. I forgot, you also need a blaze rod for this. You need some blaze powder to ignite it. Yeah, if I can get some regeneration potions going using the ghast here I got from that ghast I killed earlier, that will be huge. And just like that, we now have some level 2 regeneration potions that are a minute and 30 seconds. And I think I have a notch apple somewhere. Where is that thing? I got it earlier. Okay, I have normal golden apples. Oh, did I leave the notch apple down in the spawner from earlier? I think I did. I feel like I should go get that, but I also feel like I can't waste any more time. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it for the time being. I should have absolutely everything I need, which means the last thing to do is to craft all of these blaze rods into blaze powder, and then all of these ender pearls into eyes of ender, which of course I'm now one short since I used 2 pieces on that brewing stand over there. And finally, by the morning of day 96, I am ready to head out on this adventure to find the end portal and ultimately kill the ender dragon. I'm just gonna start by throwing an ender pearl. Okay, we are going in this direction, and oh my god, that's not good. I've already lost 1 ender pearl that fast. I'm just gonna throw my boat down and head in this direction for quite a while because I do only have 14 ender pearls and I need at least 12 to fill in the portal if it's missing every single one of them. So I rather just you know, save them as much as possible. Of course, I got mining fatigue because I passed like directly over the top of a ocean monument, so I at least am gonna have to wait for that to go away before I can like do anything. But besides that, it is so tempting to pull over here and like stop and get some mangrove logs, but I am not going to allow myself to do absolutely anything besides go directly down to the end portal because I feel like it's almost like a little bit of cheating if I harvest anything. Okay, I'm going to go over to the land real quick, or actually I guess I can go right here and let's throw our next one. Okay, we're still going in this direction, and okay, sweet, we got that one back. Definitely don't want to forget that. Come on. Let me get that thing, and we can now get back in the boat and continue going in the same direction we've been going in so far. I'm officially gonna get out of the boat and step on a piece of land that isn't our island because the ender pearls still have us, or the eyes of ender still have us going in this direction. And I think I'm gonna allow myself to grab one thing from the mainland, which is these pumpkins right here. Because last time I tried fighting the ender dragon, I didn't have a pumpkin on my head, and I actually died because I looked in too many enderman's eyes. But oh my god, I actually don't know if I'm gonna be able to even collect this thing since I have mining fatigue. I indeed was able to collect this thing up. It just literally took like 30 seconds. Okay, let's throw an eye of ender and see if we're still going in this direction. Yes, we are. And oh no, we lost another. That is not good. Oh, that is such a bummer. I wish I was able to at least get that last eye of ender, but I spent one of my blaze rods on the brewing stand, which probably wasn't a great idea. Oh, the eyes of ender switched directions, I think. Where did that thing go? Oh no, 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 no. Don't tell me I lost that. Do not tell me I just lost that. Okay, I'm gonna stand back. This is gonna be risky, but I'm gonna stand back. Okay, it's going this way, and we got that one back, but that should mean the other one should be maybe somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Okay, sweet, it's right here. We have switched directions a little bit now. We're going over here. I am gonna use some dirt though to get on top of one of these trees before I throw another one so I don't lose it. Okay, which way are we going now? We're still going this way. Oh, that felt like such a waste. I really didn't walk that far. Where did it fall? It is right here. Okay, I need to just keep going in this direction, I guess. Here we go again, and oh, it switched directions. Okay, we're going back this way again, which means it should be somewhere over here. One more time, and okay, we're officially out of them. I'm gonna assume it's kind of right over here since I threw one when I was over there and it went this way, and then I threw another one and it went this way. So I'm just gonna maybe start digging a staircase down, and hopefully we run into this thing. And look at that, we ran into some stone brick down here, which means we're now in the stronghold. Oh, dude, hell yeah, that was not very hard at all, and I still have 12. Ooh, I don't have a shield on me. Get out of here, brother. Oh my god, and it's literally right here. I'm actually just gonna get rid of this thing because I have no need ever for what are they called, silverfish? Yeah, silverfish. Ooh, okay, we also got quite a bit of mobs in here, it looks like. I'm not here to mess around with no mobs though. I just want to go straight into the end. Oh my god, you know what I just realized though? I need shears to turn this into a jack-o'-lantern. Oh darn it, you are kidding me. Okay, I need to go back up here, and I am going to collect up a couple pieces of iron, hopefully, that I passed by on my way down, so I can make that set of shears, because I completely forgot about that. Now that a few pieces of iron have smelted, I can make the shears, and then I just need to plant this pumpkin down and right click the shears. Yeah, there we go. And now we have ourselves a jack-o'-lantern. I'm going to leave everything up here because I am not going to need anything else. With that being said, one of the last things I need to do is just kind of get my inventory cleaned out here and get it set up for this fight. Let's put my bow right there. Oh, and I also forgot another thing. I forgot to fill up my bucket with water. Fill this thing up. Make sure I don't grab a fish while I'm doing that. Okay, and now take 3. I need to get my inventory set up. I'm going to put the golden apples right there. Or actually, no, I'm going to do the water bucket there, and then the golden apples there, and a couple of the potions here, and then the dirt over here, which I'm also 100% going to need to build up to the towers to take out some of those like bomb things that are at the top. I'm also going to put the carved pumpkin on my head. And yes, I don't have an overlay because I think the overlay is so freaking annoying and just makes my life way harder. Yeah, no point. Anyways, with that being said, I think it is time to, you know, place all of these Eyes of Enderin and make our way into the end. This is the screen is frozen right now. This is like a terrifying. Okay, there we go. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Eat this. And then I actually brought myself one ender pearl, which seems to have worked out. So I can throw it over there. And now it's time for the time lapse of killing the dragon to begin. So first things first, as always, I am going to need to get rid of all of these healing things. Oh, this is so much harder than I remember it being. There we go. We got one over there. Can I get that one? Yep, we got that one. There we go. There's another one. These are the most difficult ones to take out. Let's see if I can get in the hole right there. Oh yeah, I was able to get that one. Oh, sweet. What about this one over here? Yep, we got that one. These ones are the hardest ones, I think. The ones where you like can't even see what you're shooting at. Oh. Okay, here we go. The test. Oh. And that's how it ends. That's how it ends. I could not water bucket. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my god, that is how this world ends. Oh, I was so close. This is why I don't like doing the Ender Dragon fights in these 100-day challenges, because I fucking suck at PvP and killing the Ender Dragon. Ay, 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 we were so close. What was that? Day 97, day 98? Okay, let's just go ahead and spectate the world. It takes us right back to our challenge here, which I've gone ahead and made a backup of the world, obviously, before I died, so we can kind of walk around this thing now, because I'm so angry with myself. I feel like I just shouldn't have gone to kill the Ender Dragon. I kind of knew that was going to happen. Either way, you miss every shot you don't take, so it at least was worth it, I think, somewhat at the end of the day. But honestly, I had so much freaking fun during this challenge. I don't know, something about like this super overgrown jungle island and working with blocks that I don't normally use. I just love that I had to like push the building style that I normally have kind of out of my comfort zone a little bit. Although as the sun is beginning to set here, only 2 days away from day 100, I think it's that time where I say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed. Don't forget to check out my Patreon for the world download all the way up to this point in the challenge. And let's get this video to 5,000 likes for another 100-day challenge. Anyways, thank you guys as always. I will see you in the next one.